Good afternoon, learners. My name is Atrey Sinha, Academic Officer English, National Institute of Open Schooling. Today we will read the story A Tiger Comes to Town, Part 1 by R.K. Narayan. R.K. Narayan story of the story The Tiger Comes to Town talks about a tiger who fled from a circus. Jungle or forest is usually the home for wild animals like tigers, but and we love to go for a jungle safari to behold them. And even we are not afraid when we see them in the zoo or in a circus. But what if when we come across a tiger in the middle of the town? What would be our reaction? Let's see in the story. Before starting the lesson, we will surely look into the learning outcomes of the lesson. First of all, learners will read and enjoy the story. They will relate to animals with compassion. They will also infer the meaning of new words from context and use them effectively. Learners will also identify literary expressions and infer their meaning. And they will also be able to write a paragraph to describe an event using sequence markers. They will also be able to convert imperative sentences into indirect speech, and they will also be able to use the past perfect tense to describe actions completed in the past. So let's start the text first. When I entered the market road, people ran for their lives at the sight of me. As I passed through, shutters were pulled down and people hid themselves in drains, on trees and behind pillars. The population was melting out of sight. So the text, the opening paragraph of the story goes like that. When I entered the market road, people ran for their lives at the sight of me. As I passed through, shutters were pulled down and people hid themselves in drains, on trees and behind pillars. The population was melting out of sight. Though it is not mentioned in the text till now, but we can guess perfectly from the title that this I is the tiger. And the whole story is written from the perspective of that tiger. When I entered the market road, people ran for their lives at the sight of me. A market road, as its name suggests, is a bustling place, typically filled with people going about their diverse daily activities. And the sudden appearance of the tiger includes a state of terror among the inhabitants. And the word sight implies that the mere presence of the tiger is enough to send people into a frenzy of fear. And as I passed through, shutters were pulled down and people hid themselves in drains, on trees and behind pillars. This line vividly portrays the extreme measures people take to protect themselves from the perceived threat of the tiger. Shutters being pulled down suggest the immediate closure of shops and business, and it indicates a swift response to the danger, to the upcoming danger, to the thoughtful danger. People seeking refuge in drains, on trees and behind pillars illustrates the sense of desperation and panic gripping the population. They are willing to hide anywhere to escape the potential danger posed by the tiger. The population was melting out of sight. Melting usually means a dissolution of a substance, and here it means disappearance of the population. It emphasizes the rapid and widespread flight of people from the scene. The phrase out of sight further emphasizes the urgency with which people seek to distance themselves from the tiger. and they know that they cannot bear to confront the tiger directly, so they are fleeing. Next, at the circus, I had no chance to study human beings. They had sat in their seats peacefully while I cowered before Captain's whip. I got a totally wrong idea of human beings at that angle. I had thought that they were strong and fearless. So, at the circus, I had no chance to study human beings. Here, the tiger is reflecting its thought about human beings. He had been confined to the circus environment till now, and so his interactions with humans were very limited to a particular context, and that is one of domination and control. And they had sat in their seats peacefully while I cowered before the captain's whip. So here the tiger contrasts its own fear and submission to the whip of the circus trainer with the seemingly calm and passive behavior of the spectators. The spectators, representing the broader human society, appear indifferent or detached from the suffering or coercion imposed upon the tiger. I got a totally wrong idea of human beings at that angle. I had thought that they were strong and fearless. He reflects on its misconception of human beings based on its experiences in the circus. There is a disparity between his perception of humans and the reality he is experiencing now. Earlier, he believed that humans to be strong and fearless, which is sharply opposite of what he finds in the market road. Next, but now I found them running from me like a herd of deer, although I had no intention of attacking them. When I paused in front of a tailor's shop, he abandoned his machine and shut himself in a cupboard, wailing, "Alas, I am undone! Won't someone shoot the tiger?" So, but now I found them running from me like a herd of deer, although I had no intention of attacking them. So the tiger observes humans fleeing from him. He draws a comparison to a herd of deer running from a predator to these frightened people. Despite the tiger has no intention to harm any of the humans, their instinctual fear and perception of danger prompts them to react defensively. When I paused in front of a tailor's shop, he abandoned his machine and shut himself in a cupboard, wailing, "Alas, I am undone! Won't someone shoot that tiger?" So the tiger was roaming around, and at times he reaches to a tailor's shop. The tailor's immediate response is to abandon his work and seek refuge in a cupboard. He started pleading for someone to shoot the tiger to ensure his safety. And these incidents highlight the profound impact of fear and misunderstanding on human-animal interactions. Despite the animal's lack of aggressive intent, the deep-rooted fear ingrained in humans by societal narratives about dangerous animals leads to irrational and exaggerated responses. The tailor's reaction underscores the vulnerability of individuals in the face of perceived threats. Then the tiger goes on to say, a prisoner between two constables got his chance to escape when the constables fled, abandoning him with his handcuffs. I tore a horse from its jutka and enjoyed the sight of the passengers spilling out of it and running for their lives. So, a prisoner between two constables got his chance to escape when the constables fled, abandoning him with his handcuffs. Now a prisoner who was likely being escorted for some reason seizes an opportunity to escape when the constables who are escorting them flee on the sight of the tiger, leaving the criminal behind, still restrained by his handcuffs. I towed a horse from its jutka and enjoyed the sight of the passengers spilling out of it and running for their lives. So the tiger then forcibly takes control of a horse and its jutka, a type of horse-drawn carriage. The passengers spill out of the carriage and scatter in fear, presumably upon realizing the potential danger posed by the tiger. Then, sheer hopelessness seemed to have seized the townspeople. They withdrew into their homes, and even they remained nervous. All doors and windows everywhere were shut, bolted, and sealed. So sheer helplessness seemed to have seized the townspeople. Now the prevailing atmosphere among the townspeople is one of the despair and resignation. The situation they find themselves in appears dire without hope. The word seized conveys the sudden and overwhelming nature of this feeling. It indicates that it has engulfed the entire community. They withdrew their homes and even they remained nervous. Faced with the perceived threat of danger, the townspeople retreat to the safety of their homes. However, even within the confines of their houses, they are unable to shake off their nervousness and anxiety. Despite being indoors, they still feel vulnerable and unsettled. All doors and windows everywhere were shut, bolted, and sealed. This is the extreme measures taken by the townspeople to save themselves from the perceived threat. By shutting, bolting, and sealing all the doors and windows, they are attempting to create a barrier between themselves and the tigers. Then comes, some even thought that I was some extraordinary creature who might pass through the walls and lie in wait on the roof or in the basement. Why should an ordinary simple tiger have any interest in them, either to destroy or to safeguard? So the writer compares some townspeople's fear. So some even thought that I was some extraordinary creature who might pass through the walls and lie in wait on the roof or in the basement. The townspeople fears has led to an irrational beliefs and perceptions about the nature of the threat they face. And they entertain fantastical notions about the capabilities of the tiger, imagining it as a supernatural or otherworldly being capable of defying physical barriers and appearing unexpectedly in their midst. Why should an ordinary simple tiger have any interest in them, earlier to destroy or to safeguard? So this line reflects a sense of bewilderment and incredulity on the part of the tiger. The narrator or observer regarding the townspeople's exaggerated fears. The tiger is just an ordinary creature driven by its instincts, rather than possessing any malevolent intent towards the townspeople. And he questions the rationale behind the townspeople's belief that they are the target of the tiger's aggression or the focus of its attention. So till now we have seen that the tiger in the story has been trained by his master to perform tricks before a large audience at a circus. His audience, comprising both children and adults, enjoys his performance and tricks and does not appear to be afraid of him, afraid of the tiger. And the tiger comes to believe that human beings are brave and are not scared of any animals. Now what happened? One day, finding his enclosure unguarded and open, the tiger walks out into the town for a walk. And as he walks down the streets, he finds people running around trying to find a hiding place at the sight of a tiger. And the tiger is confused to see their reactions because he is used to seeing thousands of people watching his shows every evening from a close distance. And he cannot understand why they are so afraid to see him in the town, especially because he does not want to hurt them or attack them without any reason. Next, move on to the next part of the story. I rested for a moment at the door of a restaurant. The coffee drinkers and tiffin eaters sat still at their tables, uttering low moans on seeing me. I wanted to assure them, "Don't fear, I am not out to trouble you. Eat your tiffin in peace, don't mind me." So the tiger says that I rested for a moment at the door of a restaurant. So he is now describing a moment of pause outside a restaurant where people are enjoying their meals. This action suggests a temporary cessation of movement, perhaps to observe or reflect on the surroundings. And the coffee drinkers and tiffin eaters sat still at their tables, uttering low moans on seeing me. Inside the restaurant, the customers who are enjoying the coffee and tiffin react with fear upon seeing the tiger outside. And their low moans indicate their distress and apprehension in the presence of the tiger. I wanted to assure them, "Don't fear, I am not out to trouble you. Eat your tiffin in peace, don't mind me." So despite the fear and panic among the customers, the tiger, the narrator of the story, expresses a desire to reassure them that he poses no threat to them. And his words convey a sense of empathy and understanding as he acknowledges the patron's distress and attempts to alleviate their fears. And the tiger even encourages them to continue enjoying their meals in peace and emphasizing his lack of hostile intentions. "You, nearest to me, hugging the cash box, you are a coward, afraid even to breathe. Go on, count the cash if that's what you want. I just want to watch, that's all." So the tiger is saying, "You, nearest to me." The tiger then addresses an individual closest to him who is holding onto a cash box tightly. "You, nearest to me, hugging the cash box, you are a coward, afraid even to breathe." So the tiger accuses the person of being a coward, emphasizing their extreme fear to the point of being afraid to even breathe. So go on, count the cash if that's what you want. I just want to watch, that's all. So the tiger also encourages him to continue counting the cash, what he was doing earlier. And he then clarifies that he only wished to observe and pose no threat to any of them or their belongings. Then the narrator goes on, "If my tail trails down to the street, if I am blocking your threshold, it is because I am 11 feet deep to tail. I can't help it. I am not out to kill. If my tail trails down to the street, if I am blocking your threshold, it is because I am 11 feet deep to tail. I can't help it. I am not out to kill." Now the tiger explains that if his tail extends down to the street or blocks the threshold, it is due to his large size only. He has no intention to block the road. He spans 11 feet from tip to tail. That's why he is blocking the road, blocking the threshold. He further reassures that his presence is not intended to harm or kill, emphasizing his benign intentions despite his imposing size. I am too full. I found a green pasture full of food on my way. I won't need any food for several days to come. I won't attack until I feel hungry again. Tigers attack only when they feel hungry, unlike human beings who kill one another without purpose or hunger. So the tiger then rationale his activities. I am too full. I found a green pasture full of food on my way. So imagine a tiger is eating green grass. The tiger is indicating that here only. The tiger indicates that it is he is currently satiated and satisfied after finding a green lush pasture abundant with food during his journey. And this suggests that the tiger has recently fed and does not require immediate sustenance. I won't need any food for several days to come. He asserts that his recent meal has left it sufficiently nourished for an extended period. Thus, he does not anticipate needing to hunt or feed again for several days to come. I won't attack until I feel hungry again. He also declares his intention is not to engage in hunting or attacking until it experiences hunger once more. And this demonstrates the tiger's adherence to its natural instincts and the principles of hunting or hunting for survival rather than out of aggression or malice. Tigers attack only when they feel hungry, unlike human beings who kill one another without purpose or hunger. Here, the tiger draws a comparison between the behavior of tigers and humans. Tigers only resort to hunting and attacking when driven by the primal need for sustenance. In contrast, humans are capable of inflicting harm and violence upon each other without necessity or justification. This statement highlights the perceived moral contrast between animal instincts and human behavior. Next, to the great delight of children, schools were being hurriedly closed. Children of all ages and sizes were running helter-skelter, screaming joyously, "No school, tiger, tiger." They were shouting and laughing and even enjoyed being scared. So now the narrative shifts its focus to the school children. To the great delight of children, schools are being hurriedly closed. So the closure of schools is met with great delight by the children. So the arrival of the tiger brings a welcome break from their routine and an opportunity for leisure and excitement. Children of all ages and sizes were running helter-skelter, screamingly, joyously, no school, tiger, tiger." The children, regardless of their age or size, exhibit unbridled enthusiasm and excitement as they run around in all directions. Their joyful screams and chants of no school, tiger, tiger indicates that their elation at the prospect of a day off from school and the thrill of the tiger's presence in their midst. They were shouting and laughing and even enjoyed being scared. The children's behavior goes beyond mere excitement. They actively embrace the sense of fear and thrill associated with the presence of the tiger. Their shouts and laughter suggest that they find enjoyment in the heightened sense of adventure and excitement brought about by the unexpected situation. Next, I followed them through their school gate while they ran up and shut themselves in the school hall. I climbed up the steps of the school, saw an open door at the far end of a veranda and walked in. So the tiger, I followed them through their school gate while they ran up and shut themselves in the school hall. So the tiger follows the children as they rush towards the school gate, seeking refuge in the safety of the school hall. This action of the tigers suggests that the children perceive the school building as a secure place to escape from the potential danger posed by the tiger. I climbed up the steps of the school, saw an open door at the far end of a veranda and walked in. The tiger continues to explore the school premises, and he climbs the steps leading to the school building and notices an open door at the far end of the veranda. Curiosity or instinct leads him to walk through this open door, and it indicates his willingness to venture farther into the unfamiliar territory of the school. We will move on to the next upcoming part of this story, but before that, let's have a short break.
करने राहों को आलोकित करने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने। सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, संसाधन समय की सीमा से विद्यालय जो मुक्त हो, कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से युक्त हो, कभी पढ़े हम कहीं पढ़े वे विषय की लोच से और जागे, मंजिल आने की ध्वनि सुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता स्वयं चुने, जीवन ये प्रकाशित करने राहों को आलोकित करने। परीक्षा का अवसर एक बार ही क्यों मिलता फिर दुनिया में इसके केंद्र बात, कोई मन चाहा केंद्र चुने, हम अपना दीपक स्वयं बने, हम अपना रास्ता
Welcome back, learners. We were reading A Tiger Comes to Town Part 1 by R.K. Narayan. Till now we have seen that the tiger has escaped from a circus and then he is roaming about a town, and now he is now in a school. The school children has already locked themselves up to a room, and now what happens to the headmaster of the school? Let's start. It happened to be the headmaster's room. I noticed a very dignified man jumping on his table and heaving himself up into an attic. I walked in and flung myself on the cool floor, having a special liking for cool stone floors, with my head under the large desk. It happened to be the headmaster's room. So the room the tiger enters belongs to the headmasters of the school. I noticed a very dignified man jumping on his table and heaving himself up into an attic. And the tiger observes the headmaster as very dignified, but at this point is engaging an unusual behavior. He is seen jumping on his table and heaving himself up into an attic. So he is attempting to escape or hide from the perceived threat posed by the tiger. I walked in and flung myself on the cool floor, having a special liking for cool stone floors, with my head under the large desk. Despite the commotion caused by the headmaster's actions, the tiger calmly enters the room and finds comfort in the coolness of the stone floor. And he expressed a particular fondness for cool stone floors and seek refuge under the large desk. Next, I was in no mood to bother about anything. All I wanted was a little moment of sleep. While I sleep, I had been properly locked up and was being watched. So the tiger was saying that I was in no mood to bother about anything. All I wanted was a little moment of sleep. The narrator indicates a state of disinterest or indifference towards his surroundings and circumstances. He just needs some rest and sleep above all else. While I slept, I had been properly locked up and was being watched. In the meantime, the tiger was confined, the tiger was arrested and under observation while sleeping. The phrase properly locked up implies the measures have been taken to secure his confinement, indicating a deliberate effort to prevent the narrator from escaping and causing harm to anybody. Additionally, the mention of being watched suggests that someone is monitoring the tiger's movement and behavior, further limiting his freedom. Next, after I woke up, I heard a teacher saying, "Now that this brute is safely locked up, we must decide." As the tiger wakes up from sleep and becomes aware of his surroundings, he hears about his captivity. He is referred to as a brute, a term often used to describe wild or untamed animals, especially those perceived as dangerous or aggressive, just like tiger. And the teacher's words also imply that a decision needs to be made regarding the tiger's confinement. Now what happened next? At this moment, my master, the tiger's master, pushed his way through the crowds and scolded, "Never use the words beast or brute. They are ugly words coined by man in his arrogance. The human being thinks all other creatures are beasts." Awful words. So at this moment, my master pushed his way through the crowds and scolded. So the tiger's master interrupts the conversation and addresses the people present there. presumably expressing disapproval or criticism regarding the language being used to describe the tiger. Never use the words beast or brute. The master admonishes the crowd and advised them against using the term such as beast or brute to refer to the tiger. They are ugly words coined by man in his arrogance. He condemns these words as ugly and suggests that they reflect human arrogance and a sense of superiority over other creatures. The human beings thinking all other creatures are beasts, awful word. The master further emphasizes his point by highlighting the human tendency to categorize and dehumanize other creatures by labeling them as beasts. And he condemns this practice and implies that it reflects a narrow-minded and arrogant perspective on the part of the humans. Is this the time to discuss problems of vocabulary? Someone has said from the neighbor. Is this the time to discuss problems of vocabulary? Why not? Retorted my master. At which they looked extremely upset and angry. Someone said, "What a reckless man you are! Who are you?" So, is this the time to discuss problems of vocabulary? Someone questions the timing of discussing vocabulary issues, implying that there may be more pressing matters at hand that need immediate attention or resolution. This is not a time to have a discussion discussion on vocabulary. Why not? Retorted my master. At which they looked extremely upset and angry. So the master responds assertively. He seems to provoke strong reaction from the others' presence, who become visibly upset and angry in response to his insistence on addressing the matter. Someone said, "What a reckless man you are! Who are you?" Another individual expresses disapproval and incredulity towards the master's assertiveness, labeling him as reckless and questioning his authority or identity. What happened then? You are asking a profound question. I have no idea who I am. All my life I have been trying to find the answer. Are you sure you know who you are? So now you are asking a profound question. I have no idea who I am. All my life I have been trying to find the answer. The master of the tiger, acknowledges the profundity of the question posed to him, and he indicates that it delves into the core of identity and self-awareness. He admits uncertainty about his own identity, expressing a lifelong pursuit to unravel the complexities of who they are. Are you sure you know who you are? Then he turns the question back to the other person, the question setter, challenging their certainty about their own identity. By posing this question, the master prompts a reflection on the nature of self-awareness and the limitations of human understanding when it comes to defining oneself. So in the second part of the story, we have seen that wandering down the lane, the tiger in the story reaches a restaurant. He sits down at the door of the restaurant. He sees that all the people in the restaurant are shocked and frozen in their seats to see him sitting at the entrance. And the tiger wants to tell them that they do not need to be afraid of him because he is not hungry at all, and the tiger only attacks when they are hungry, and that they are not like human beings who kill without a good reason. And the tiger also wants to tell the people in there that they are not brave as he had thought them to be, and that he only wants to watch them not harm them. And the tiger notices that the schools in the town are being closed early and that the school children are shouting with a mixture of delight, excitement and fear. And then he enters the school gate and goes into the headmaster's room. Now the headmaster climbs up into the attic in fear and the tiger goes to sleep under the headmaster's desk. He wakes up to find that he has been locked up in the headmaster's room, and the tiger then hears his circus master angrily telling a teacher not to use rude and ugly words such as brute to describe the tiger. Now we will move on to the writing section and the grammar section of this lesson. First of all, we have slogan writing. So slogan writing is generally one line that appeals for a cause, and these lines are very short and appealing and very catchy, and these short lines can be very appealing to all the recipients. And then we have some exercises to guess the prospect of the slogan, the ground of the slogan, and to coin some slogan for a specific problem or a specific context. So this is the slogan writing part. Then we have grammar, where we have past perfect tense. Let's have this sentence as an example. The train had left before I reached the station. So the sentence is, the train had left before I reached the station. If we divide this sentence into two, then we have two parts. The train had left and